Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gamer's Ledge. I am your host and DM, Mark, and tonight we are doing something a little bit different. We are doing an end-of-year recap show for Emancipation of Dragons. We're going to go through all 21 episodes and talk about what happened in each so that for those who might not have had a chance to catch up, they have a great jumping-on point for the new year in 2022. We have a grand cast of characters here. We're going to go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves and remind us who their character is. And we'll start in the top left and work our way counterclockwise, starting with you, Sean.
Yeah, well, hello. My name is Sean. I'm playing Mytholos, the Noble Thief.
And Mitchell is actually going to be sitting out. He is a new player. He will be introduced in an upcoming game, not quite yet. But this is a good catching up point for him, too.
As you said.
Oh, go ahead.
Mitchell, hi.
Yes, thank you. And then we also have Leonardo Lou, played by Lou, who's not here. He's a human mage. And we have Autumn Oak Navona, played by Lexi, who is a dryad druid, who is not able to be here tonight, unfortunately, also. And then that brings us to you, Zach.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I play Zakusu, the Yanti monk.
Hi, my name is Matt. I play Quark, the Aarakocran Ranger.
Hi, my name's JR. I play Itali, the Asmar Bard.
Hi, my name's Ben. I play Orwin, the Loxodon fighter. Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. So we have 21 published episodes, 22 in reality. I realized that as I was going back through the recap, because we lost one of the episodes, which we'll talk about when we get to it. But basically, I'm going to give a quick recap, and then anyone that wants to share anything can. If you have secrets that you wanted to actually reveal in there, you can, but you don't have to. But nonetheless, starting with episode 0, all the characters we had at that point had a dream where they found themselves outside the walls of a gleaming city that was under siege by shadows. Seemed to be an elven city, and they fought off the shadows, and the city of elves, they did something, and the city disappeared. The shadows turned their attention towards the party, began moving en masse towards them, and then everyone in the party woke up normally, remembering nothing of the dream. Episode 1, Oakhurst, and then I'll take a pause after that. Each one of our heroes came from different places, but all united seeking two sides of the same coin, either a fruit that healed any ailment or a fruit that cursed and killed people. Eventually, the group ended up in the town of Oakhurst, and after getting to know the town, the healer Corky, or Dem as she preferred, the innkeeper, Zek found he needed a license from the mayor to perform. The townsfolk knew about the fruit that everyone was searching for, but that the group was about 2 weeks early. Goblins would bring it when it was ripe in a fortnight, and meanwhile, most everyone found that the noble town trader, Carwyn Hukrell, had missing children in a nearby citadel that had been recruited by a previous adventuring party, and she implored the group to search them out and rescue them. A blue spark formed into existence between all the adventurers gathered in the general store. Some people beyond the party can see it, and some cannot. The town mayor also implored the group to uncover how the goblins were stealing the fruit from saplings that the town people had made by planting the seeds of the fruit. The group set out and were ambushed in the middle of the night on the road by shrub creatures, and the menagerie descended down a very long rope into the darkness, finding themselves on top of a sunken citadel. They fought some giant rats upon everyone getting down there and saw stairs leading down into the darkness. And that was episode 1, Oakhurst. Comments, thoughts?
We managed to climb down the rope without falling off it.
And surprisingly, no one fell. I was very surprised about that myself.
So it wasn't just the fruit from the saplings that were being planted, anything that was planted is gone.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But generally, the only thing people had were the cores and the seeds.
Right. Which grew to a certain sized plants, and then were disappearing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What's up, Rick? Welcome to the chat. And by the way, chat, normally, to be honest, whenever we do our TTRPGs, I don't interact with chat unless it's by typing. But if you guys have questions as we go through the story, by all means, feel free to ask, and we'll tackle what we can there as well.
And actually, Quark didn't know about the fruit at all. He just finally worked up the gumption to go into the nearest settlement, having ended up in this wherever he was, that he had no idea what was going on or why he was there or what was going on. We haven't really fully gone into the reasons why he left his village and his potentially realm. So that's still a story for another day.
It is. And I think everyone else was related to the fruit.
Yeah, everyone else had a reason for the fruit. I was just the only one like, okay.
No, I wasn't searching
You
for the
guys-
fruit. I was looking for somebody.
Oh, that's right. You were looking for somebody, and Ben wasn't there, so he wasn't looking for the fruit either.
No, he was not. He definitely was not. He was looking for the back of his eyelids.
Pretty much.
Episode 2, Descending into the Citadel. That there blue spark inhaled Leo, his bird, Vestiel, and Methelus into itself, leaving not a trace behind. The party was kind of terrified at that point, but when Zakusu studied it, there was a yellow smiling face with broad teeth and hearts for eyes that disappeared soon after, and I might note, has not been seen since. The group was fearful, but it continued to follow them anyways, despite their best efforts. They found the Citadel had been trapped. We learned more about Quark's gross eating habits and pellet generation. Methelus was ejected from the blue sphere shortly after being inhaled, and the party realized it doesn't seem to actually eat people, but they aren't sure why or how it determines who is taken when, but they seem to be in a state of suspended animation when it does so. Zek also befriended a dog he found, and it was slow going until the group met a sad kobold named Meepo. And Meepo told the group that the goblins that lived in the Citadel as well stole Calstrix, the clan's dragon, and that Meepo was in charge of protecting the dragon, and of course was out of sorts with the kobold hierarchy because the dragon was stolen. The group agreed to help retrieve the dragon. Meepo took the group to meet the kobold leader Usadrill, and Usadrill sent Meepo along with the group to provide safe passage into the goblin areas of the Citadel after answering some questions for them. They learn that the goblins are the servants of an outcast on the lower levels, and Meepo leads the group while yelling ticklecorn at any passing kobolds, eventually leading them through some booby-trapped areas into the goblin-controlled portion of the Citadel. Why are you laughing, Dan?
Meepo. Just he was a funny NPC.
He's a good egg.
Just one thing to interject before we get too far. There was heavy dragon motif to the Citadel, Sunken Citadel. Yeah, we had encountered a couple of dragon puzzles already at that point. A bunch of dragon reliefs and stuff in Draconic. So,
and I believe you'd already gathered from the townsfolk at that point that the Citadel was rumored to have been started by a dragon cult.
Yep.
Long, many thousands of years ago. But then got sucked into the earth and no one knew why. Any other comments on episode 2? Thoughts? Nope. Yep. All right. Episode 3, Into the Goblins Den. Methelus got sucked into the blue spark again, but everyone else was returned into a tight hallway right after crossing into the goblins' territory, which meant that the party had to stop and catch all those people up. And after finding a dry fountain, Vestiel recognized the symbols written on his Draconic, activating it and collecting it as a potion of fire breath. They found a sealed door with both magic and physical locks that they weren't able to get into and move forwards. The group encountered several goblins and was torn about killing versus subduing the goblins. And the group found a halfling captive of the goblins named Urky Timbers, and they freed him, learning that Talgren and Sharwin had been captive with him, but they were moved 3 weeks prior. Urki informed them about the Twilight Grove beneath them, and that the Golthias tree bears the blessed fruit in the spring and cursed fruit in the fall. And he reluctantly follows along with the group, but then does help them gain access to somewhere that they couldn't get into with the Turn Undead spell. The group found a room with sarcophagi that came to life when someone picked up a hat off of an altar. They managed to dispatch the undead and obtained a hat of house that grows into a house large enough to contain all of them safely for an evening. And then Meepo led them deeper into the Goblin's Lair. And that was episode 3. Comments? Oh, you're on mute.
Lots of traps. There were lots of traps.
There were lots of traps.
Lots
In fact,
lots of traps.
So this module, which I haven't really discussed with too many people, this is actually a full module that was converted to 5e from D&D Advanced D&D, I think. It might have been 3.5, but I think it was older than that. It's called the Sunless Citadel.
ADD.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Second edition.
Second edition. So it's called the Sunless Citadel, and I was laughing at it because there are so many things that would kill first level adventurers. All those traps were basically enough to kill first level adventurers. And you guys managed to navigate almost all of them, but I do remember there was somebody got hit with one of them, and they came within like 1 or 2 points of being dead just from being hit once. And most of the traps and stuff were like that. The other thing I'll say about this is you guys explored less than half of the Citadel, so I was pretty surprised about that as well.
Wow.
Episode 4, Consequences and Actions. As you guys started to leave the chamber where you found the hat, the blue spark devoured everyone but Zek, Methalus, Leonardo, Quark, and Caleb. The first half of the session was the one and only time that we leveled up on stream, and seeing as it took like over half the session, we didn't do that again after that because it took a really long time. The group caught Methalus up on what had happened, continued to explore. They found the body of a felled ranger, and the dog indicated it was his master. But they were also ambushed by diseased, cursed rats. And as the group got into battle, Methalus was bitten by the mother cursed rat, and the group realizes with the healers trapped inside the blue spark, they must retreat from the Citadel in a race against the clock to get Methalus back to Oakhurst before dying from the disease, slowly eating his life away hour by hour. And the funny part was that at the very end of this episode, Quark flew Methalus up to the very top and then bamped out of existence into the blue spark at the beginning of the next episode. So that was pretty amusing. But yeah, that's episode 4.
Remind me, what level were we at this point?
1.
No, you were now
Maybe
2.
2.
You were 2 because the first half of this session was leveling up. So you were
and we encountered a trap or a beastie with a poison that very nearly killed one of our parties.
That needed like a greater restoration spell to cure it that none of us had.
Yep.
And wouldn't have.
And couldn't have had for another 3 or 4 levels.
And that's why I laughed about this entire thing. On the one hand, I could have dumbed it down, but on the other hand, there were 8 of you.
Yep.
So,
which seemingly never all happened at the same time.
no.
So there were really like 5 of us.
It was basically a full party, and which is kind of what I had hoped for. But yeah, no. But you managed. I mean, you guys did really good in that dungeon.
Always carries 5 cure disease spells now. Cure disease scrolls now. Seriously, if you look at my character, I've got 5 cure disease scrolls on him.
And 20 diamonds, right?
I wish. I can't afford 20 diamonds.
Episode 5 was pelting him with silver. As the group made it to the ravine camp, Quark, Vestiel, and Caleb were sucked into the blue spark. Luckily, Quark had finished his upward momentum, and Methalus just fell onto the ravine ledge rather than all the way back down. While Itali and Autumn were ejected out of the Blue Spark, Leo sent his familiar ahead to contact Corky, the town healer, and have her come halfway back. And they managed to meet half a day's trek from the town, save themselves some time. She cast a spell to cure Mythilus, but it didn't work. She tried a different, more powerful spell, and that didn't work. And she determined that the curse was magical in nature, and the only diamond that she had for greater restoration that she had large enough was back in town. So they rush Mythilus back, and Corky manages to cure Mythilus just in time. You were like, what, 2 HP away from dying, perma-dying, if I remember correctly? It was real close, because you were rolling every hour, if I remember right.
Yeah, I had 4 hit points left.
Yeah. And Leo learned about Iridium from Corky and made a mental note of that, and the group decides to spend the night back there before returning to the Citadel. Urki left the group to go home and not be an adventurer. The group tried out the Hat of House near the lake outside of town, and Zek decided to host a performance at the inn and got a suit-covered boy to spread the word about the town for marketing. Leo informed the mayor about the baby dragon that you guys had learned about in the Citadel and convinced him to give the party some additional support. And also learned that the mayor has a pneumatic tube system in the town between the mayor's house and the jail. Between the two of them, additional manpower is not on the table, but he does tell them to come back in the morning, where the mayor gives Leo a magic potion. Zek put on a performance the prior evening where Itali pelts Zek with silver, and I have in my notes the town folks joined in, but I wasn't sure about that.
I believe it.
I don't think that they.
I know the mayor
actually.
was super nice and made like a grand gesture of getting a fortune reading from you and giving you a gold and then waving magnanimously to the crowd. But I can't remember if the rest of them pelted you with silver also.
I don't think they did, but knowing Itali, he probably spurned them on. So
After their night's rest and making a little money, the group returned to the Citadel and made their way back to where they left off. And that was episode 5, pelting him with silver.
I think if I didn't throw money, other people wouldn't throw money. So I helped start, kind of like starting a wave at a baseball game.
oh, they were already placing money in the hat that I had set out. You're right. If you hadn't started throwing money, they probably wouldn't have been throwing money because they were placing
Except for,
money
like normal people.
in the hat.
But since you're a
Yeah, but you
giant
see,
snake
now there's
merchant,
another,
they should
now there's
definitely
another
throw silver
round.
at you.
Now the people that walked up and left money in the hat, now they're like, wow, I have another option. I better take it and throw money.
I understand that I'm not a bard and you are a bard, but I feel sorry for your performances where people throw money at you.
Well, that's why I'm not that kind of bard.
Episode 6, Dragon Trainer No More. The Blue Spark consumed Leo, but Caleb and Quark were ejected. The group found Calstrix, and Meepo, assuring the party that Calstrix loves Meepo, attempt to convince Calstrix to come back with him, and the dragon responded by a freezing cone of cold that froze Meepo solid and then shattered him when he fell over. The group attempted to calm it down.
Like
And
a lot. Like a lot. Like
the funny part is you only tried 2 times and succeeded both times. And if you had 3, I was going to let you talk to it and calm it down. But you guys abandoned it after 2. So that was pretty funny. And picked a fight.
Money off of it.
You
With the
did
dragon.
a good job of making it seem like the first 2 tries did nothing.
Right.
Yeah, you did a
Right.
very good job of
Yeah,
that.
no. Yeah,
Not that it was starting to work
Mm-hmm.
or that it was even capable of listening.
100%. That was something I was amused by. But then the group managed to kill Calstrix, and Mythilus harvests all the part as if it was a game of Kingdom Death Monster.
Tell me it wasn't worth it.
Oh, it was. Hey, I didn't say it wasn't. I just thought it was.
Nobody
amusing.
else was gonna.
The menagerie managed to find the hobgoblin leader, Durn, in a giant hole leading deeper into the citadel. A fight breaks out, and the party takes some lumps. But Zek manages to glass step Squid Game's throw Durn down the hole. Whilst the previous hobgoblin leader, Sorcerer, called for parley and promised safe passage if the group dispatches of Belek down below with some. And I should mention that Zek used timey-wimey shenanigans in order to do that because he actually fell down the hole with Durn and rewound time to try again and actually caught the side, suplexing him into the darkness.
Sadly, we have not come across anything like that again.
No, sure
I
haven't.
wonder why.
Use timey-wimey what?
He had a potion with silver motes that allowed him to rewind time when something didn't go his way twice. That you guys had that was given to you by the mayor. Actually, that's the magic potion I spoke of earlier. And that was episode 6. Oh yeah, the party agreed to parley with the hobgoblin sorcerer. She gave you guys a symbol that represented her and told you to show it to the goblins on the lower level and they wouldn't attack you. And you guys agreed and began to descend down the hole. And that was episode 6, Dragon Trainer No More. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Meepo.
Yeah. I think, Zek, you almost died again that round, didn't you? It was pretty close.
Yes. I had less than 5 hit points left.
That's what I thought.
I don't recall an episode where there's combat where Zek didn't almost die.
That's true, but there were a couple, actually. Episode 7, Flame Snake Hibachi. The spark absorbed Autumn and Leo while the group descended down the hole, only to find that Durn's body wasn't there at the bottom. However, they did find one of the 2 children of the merchant's corpses, the male one, Talgrin.
Oh, we skipped. Sorry, I was reading. Grendel revealed something about the bramble monsters that we had been attacked by on the way to the Citadel.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, I didn't put every detail in here. You're correct.
No,
So
that's
yell
kind
those
of
out.
significant, though. That's why I was like, oh yeah, we need to back up a sec.
Oh no, I actually think. Wait, did I skip this? No, you're right. It was in episode 6. She did reveal that the sapperling monsters are basically the sprouts of the Gulthias tree come to life. They come to life at a certain age and act autonomously, but for some reason it seemed like Belek could control them. That's what you're referring to, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the group goes down the hole, finds that Durn's body isn't there. However, they do find one of the 2 children's corpses that they were sent to find, Talgrin, the male child. The group encounter a couple skirmishes, but finds an empty lab and determined that an injured Durn must have gathered everyone from the level in a surprise ambush, and they figured out where it is. And the group decides to try and see if they can flank instead around and catch them by surprise. They head south, and as they search for somewhere to rest, they find a strangely placed obscured diamond in a room and take it. As they explore a bit more, they encounter a flame snake that almost roasts the entire party. But they manage to best it and rest in the defendable diamond room. And that's episode 7, Flame Snake Hibachi.
Not me. I rarely get hit. Only when I almost die.
That
There
one,
was
I
a
think.
Yeah,
was
I
my
think
first
you
death
actually
save.
did get hit a couple times that round. I'd have to go back and watch for sure, but I'm pretty sure everybody took a beating in that particular encounter.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
I think that was my first death save.
Save.
There, and in one of the more humorous things, there was a bugbear who was the owner of all the rats we'd been killing. So that was fun.
All the rats you've been eating.
Well, we won't talk about that part.
Had to kill them first and then eat them.
We kill them to eat them, yeah. There was some sort of weird experiments going on where twig blight buds were growing out of a strapped down diseased rat. That was
And
fun.
that was
Methless freaked out.
Yeah, and so we never really got a lot of closure on that. That was Belak conducting experiments trying to implant the saprolings into live beings to see if he could then control them as well.
Yeah.
Totally moral stuff.
Standard zombie mind control stuff.
Yeah, totally moral stuff. Episode 8, Dealing with Durn. The spark ejected Leo after a long rest. The group makes their way back and finds some goblins in the lab now. And the group shows the symbol, and they find out that the goblins don't like Durn, and they agree to leave the adventurers in peace, as Durn had forced them to stand out there for something like 6 hours straight, expecting an attack from you guys. The menagerie triggers the ambush as the goblins fighting for Durn turn their blades sideways when they hit you to not do any damage, as they are actually play fighting just to keep appearances up, allowing for the adventuring party to put an end to Durn's reign. The group continues to explore, fighting a shade, finding a room with books. One of the books is booby-trapped and explodes, instantly knocking out Zek and Itali, with Itali saying right before he fell down, "Don't loot my body," and then he passes out.
Sounds about right.
The group manages to stabilize the two of them and decides to rest up inside the hat within this room, since it's fairly defensible. And that was episode 8, Dealing with Durn.
And not to not give credit where credit is due, Itali did one of his patented speeches, which is what really turned the room
100%
in our favor. So
100%, because there was a bugbear in there as well.
Mhm.
And he was the garden tender, but he didn't need a lot of convincing because he didn't
No.
like Durn either. Nobody liked Durn. As soon as the opportunity for him to be deposed presented itself, they took it. Episode 9, A Choice. The spark ejects Autumn after the party rests, and the group heads into the grove. They encounter Belak, the Mad Mage, who has Sir Bradford, the Paladin, and Sharwin, the daughter of the traitor, at his side, but they both look transformed, almost bark-like. Belak explains that the origin of the Golthias tree, a staked vampire, grew roots, and the fruit that it bears either heals or harms, but also propagates the tree. At seed-bearing age, the saplings animate and become bloodthirsty servants that Belak can control. He wishes to turn the party into his servants as well, just like he's done for Sir Bradford and Sharwin. A battle between the menagerie, the minions, and a small army of Golthias saplings ensues. The party manages to dispatch all of them, save for Sir Bradford and Sharwin, who end up motionless after Belak is killed. The party vehemently disagrees over what to do with the tree, but the decision is ultimately made to destroy it. Zek discovers a metal stake planted at the base of the tree with purplish power pulsing through it, and the 3 magic users study it and believe it to be bad, and they decide to disable it. Upon successfully doing so, a purple light bathes all the party members save Zek and unlocks something in their mind, as well as turning the stake into a magical book that is now in Leo's possession.
Which was one of our first encounters with true racism in this game.
No, everyone that
Eating
was meant
vampires?
to be struck by the purple light was struck by the purple light. Everybody but Daniel. Everybody but Zach. What's up, Mafia? Welcome to the stream. Hello, Xylane. Welcome to the stream. So after they disable it, it actually raised the Citadel from the earth as well. In all the ensuing chaos, they get Sir Bradford and Sharwin back to town. But after several attempts, Sir Bradford ends up giving his life to help save Sharwin with the remaining 100 gold diamond that the group found in the diamond room within the Citadel. So they only had one left to cast Greater Restoration. They used it on Sharwin because Sir Bradford refused to be on the receiving end. And that was episode 9, A Choice.
So they decided to destroy the tree that was the whole reason for them to come together?
Well, so several people argued. I mean, I shouldn't necessarily be the one to tell this. There were people who wanted to save it.
Did you talk about
the person who really wanted it gone is no longer in the party though?
Did you talk about what the tree was? And I didn't catch.
I did. It was a vampire. Basically, a vampire was staked, and that stake grew roots and became the Golthias tree.
And the Golthias tree still required sacrifice in order to produce the healthy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Wasn't that the case? Isn't that why the kids were kidnapped so they can be sacrificed to this thing or something?
They
what I
were.
thought.
That's something Belek realized he could do with the tree, but it wasn't a necessity for the tree.
Oh, well, see, Zet didn't realize that at the time.
Right.
It sounded like that's what even now, you're telling me now, but until this point right now, I had thought that tree was a vampire tree.
It's not a. How do I explain it? It is vampire spawn, but it does not require blood.
It also, and while it does produce 3 white fruits, it also produces the red fruits, right?
Correct. It was both. Because that was the Golthias tree is an interesting thing altogether. It is basically both the good and bad of vampirism. And so the red ones cure any ailment with the strength of vampires, and the white ones cure life by killing you.
The person that Zek is trying to save with the fruit, with the healing fruit, had actually been fed the poisonous fruit.
Correct.
And so that was one of the big reasons he didn't believe that the tree should be destroyed. But he was outvoted.
And Caleb was not a planeswalker. Not a planeswalker by choice. Caleb was from a different realm where vampires had destroyed several major cities. And so he was extremely anti-vampire. Hence,
Is he from Innistrad or something?
he's actually from Rifts.
Totally
Yeah,
different.
okay.
Totally different system.
Okay.
He basically said, "Can I play an isekai character?" I said, "Sure. Where do you want to be from?" He's like, "Rifts." I'm like, "Done." So that was the case. So he started to use magic to destroy the tree. And once it started to burn, everybody just kind of like, okay.
I believe Leo had attempted to try to sneak a sapling from the tree, and Caleb got
That
very
is
upset
true.
with him.
Mhm.
Got very, very upset with him.
Very much so.
So wasn't the tree seasonal though? Didn't you say like it only produced the cursed fruit
It
in
produced the
the
first fruit.
fall?
Yeah, like once a year. The healing fruit and the cursed fruit at different times, but once a year.
Yeah. So healing fruit in the spring and then harming fruit in the fall.
Seems like you should just be able to protect it during the bad season.
Like I said, we were outvoted.
I mean,
Okay.
not to
The
mention,
vote was taken.
there was still a goblin's nest on top of it
And a kobold.
and a kobold
Hang out.
morin on top of it. So
Well, I wasn't there, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
You know.
but good questions. Episode 10, The Aftermath. The blue spark devoured Leo, Autumn, and Caleb as the rest of the group had to deal with the fallout of the death of Sir Bradford. The decision was made to incinerate his remains, and now that the mayor knows about the animation of the Sapperlings, he calls all of the town folk to bring their planted sapperlings to the pyre. Quark began to learn of Paylor from Corky and accepted a book of Paylor from her. Speech is made over the pyre, and Sir Bradford was declared a town hero. The Hukrell's funeral of Talgrin is attended by the group as well. Talgrin's ring is given to Zek with a message to give to Durnan, proprietor of the Yawning Portal in Waterdeep. Tell him you want to use his delivery portal spell, and the group decides to go to Waterdeep and are provided with dragons, the currency of Waterdeep. The group travels, passes through the outer gates of the city, gets screened by the city guard, one of which was an Easter egg of a character named Migo from a previous Exalted campaign that Daniel and I had played doing, having a shark monster necklace. The group was introduced to the player map of Waterdeep, where anything they discovered in their times in Waterdeep would be added to, which we're still using today. And then, probably one of the most fulfilling encounters that I've ever had in a game is when the group finds old Zoblob's curio shop and meet an odd proprietor who has everything in his shop painted purple. They quickly find that beyond the beholder in the window, the proprietor is only interested in purple objects, and Zek feels his time has been infinitely wasted in having gone there.
It was like a 20-minute conversation too. When you were going into the description as if this place was important.
It is important
The
to him.
Zoblob.
I like how the coloring of your window right now is purple. It's really telling. So also of note, when we left after the pyre, right before the pyre,
Yes.
Zek has hand wraps now that are light blue, that were torn from the cloth of his tabard.
Of Sir Bradford's tabard.
Of Sir Bradford's tabard. And that was a small detail that's come up a couple times, but it's just part of the fluff of the background.
Sir Bradford wasn't buried with his sword.
And he wasn't buried with his sword either.
Poor Sharwin never got her spellbook back.
Nope, Sharwin never got her spellbook back either.
I feel like Zoblob was more important later, though.
Well, maybe. We'll get there. They quickly found the Yawning Portal and took in its insanity of just the mixture of different types of creatures, as well as the well in the center of the tavern, with adventurers being lowered into the darkness. Zek made contact with Durnan, got his and Autumn's fruit teleported, along with notes of where they needed to go. Shortly thereafter, as everyone's drinking in the tavern, a fight breaks out, but the party had heard Durnan say, "Do not fight in my establishment," and so they minded their own business, and it was eventually broken up. But just then, a troll climbed up from the well, and the inn was sent into Bedlam. And that was episode 10, The Aftermath.
This was the first episode where we really saw Quark kind of start to bond to some of the characters. Kind of had a heart-to-heart minute with Zek about the not curing of Sir Bradford. Started to understand Atali's bizarre sense of humor.
Understand since day one, Quark's been confused and nothing's changed.
Start to understand. So that was just there was a little bit of character development in there for Quark, where he's starting to get a little more used to things that are going on. He'd never seen a city before, so that was all new. There's nobody around that really looks like him, but at this point we still didn't have the group name yet, but we are the island band of misfit toys.
Actually, you had it.
Right?
You had it.
Did we have that?
Carowin was the first one to call you the Menagerie.
Was it? Okay.
Back in Oakhurst.
Okay.
But then
didn't write
it
that
wasn't used again so much for a while. But yes, I think this is the first time that you guys introduced yourselves as the Menagerie.
Yeah. So
And hi, Killer Dragon. Welcome to the stream. You're not the only one who had, well, Zek was very uncomfortable in the city as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. More so than Quark even. Quark's
Still is.
curiosity got past him.
Still is not a fan of the city.
And I don't think we ever mentioned that if for those that don't know, a lot of these things, Mythilus is almost always out in the front, sneaking around. We are very cautious progression for the most part. And we've utilized Zek's ability to turn into a snake several times that have not been mentioned. So these are just little color tidbits of the way we get around, or of how we kind of get around. Atali convinces people to do things they should never do. Mythilus sneaks around and unlocks doors, and Zex slithers under doors we can't open.
And Quark flies and scouts when he has the opportunity.
Yeah, when he has the opportunity. But a lot of times there's obstacles in the way of
Darkness.
You also eat all the rats that Mythila is scared of. There's that.
well,
too.
saves the rations for those of you that can't eat rat.
Thank you for redeeming hydration. I will get it now.
Hydrate.
So, episode 11, we've lost so much. As the fight broke out in the yawning portal, the blue spark ejects everyone but Vestiel, and they all jump into the fight. Durn even assisted, pulling down a magic sword that was mounted on the wall behind the bar. And surprisingly, the group overcame the troll's natural healing abilities. Durn was surprised and thanked everyone, and told them food, drinks, and a place to stay were on him. And he introduces them to Volothamp Gedarm, a famous author who says his friend Rainier Neverember had been kidnapped 2 days ago and beseeches the party to help him. Mr. J. Nice, welcome to the channel. The menagerie agrees, and the mages of the group register with the city, as is required, and the group goes shopping and does some money changing. Itali,
The whole episode.
yeah, pretty much is the rest of the episode. Itali uses magic on a magic shop worker to convince them that they've lost so much in this quest in Oakhurst that she needs to give them a massive discount. And he buys a couple things and then at a ridiculous discount, and then Leonardo returns to that same person knowing that she's under the effect of a spell and convinces her to give the group a giant discount on a magic rope and a bag of holding, among other things.
Game really important to us. It's helped us out a ton.
Immense discount.
Yeah, it was immense. And that was the rest of that episode. Literally half the episode shopping. I love it. Comments? No comments?
I'm still reading.
It sounds like Leo likes money a lot. Or no?
No, you're pretty on the spot because later on, some stuff happened and I end up paying for that episode. And he was not really happy about that. Because to me, I'm not about money. I'm just like, I just want to have adventures and whatnot. And, I don't really spend money now that I think about it in the game. So, yeah, Leo was not happy about me doing that. So, yeah, he's about money in game.
Actually, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think he's about knowledge. And if money allows him to amass knowledge, then he's all about money, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
a
does.
means to an end.
Yeah.
I think that's a much more accurate for him.
Mythilus, on the other hand.
Mythilus cares about money.
That is true.
Episode 12.
We did also sell, or Mythilus did sell a bunch of the dragon stuff
Yes,
at the tincture store.
that is correct.
Like
Except
nearly
for
2,000 gold worth of dragon stuff.
Except for the skull of the dragon, which still resides in Autumn's treetop.
No?
That is true.
I don't think we sold the skull.
I don't think we sold the skull. I don't think we had any buyers for it.
We could go back and
Yeah, I'll
watch.
double check that, but I'm pretty sure she still has it in her bows today.
Yeah, because I remember we like put it on her to seem threatening to something, and we never really took it off.
And every time she's popped back in, she's had it on. So I'll double check that. Episode 12, Fearlessly Finding Floon. The group manages to pass a crime scene and stops a fleeing Xanathar guild member, turning him back over to the police. They continued on to a tavern and engaged in a game of dwarven chess to obtain information about Renair's disappearance. They are led to a warehouse where the group finds the warehouse, assaults it, overcame some Kenku, and eventually discover Renair, only to find that his friend Floon was mistaken for him and taken by the Xanathar Guild. Renair and the Kenku give them the group some clues about where to go, but then the City Watch arrives and gives the group a copy of the Laws of Waterdeep. And because a noble is involved, the Watch looks the other way, and Renair says he may know someone that can help. And that was episode 12 of Fearlessly Finding Floon.
Mythos on a rope.
Mythos on a rope, Quark having to
Like a
deal with
balloon.
learning about Kenku and their fate in this world.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. I have a lot of notes about this. What happens to the Kenku?
What? No, I love you, Mr. Okay. All right. I'll do my best. Mr. J Nice has banned me from allowing me to say the word "the," and also making me hydrate.
You really should have disabled those for this.
There's no way to disable them. So I have put a note on most of them that says during TTRPG sessions they are null and void, but we'll see if I can do it.
No,
I mean, this is
and
a fun
to answer
drinking
Mitchell's
game, huh?
question, just what Kenku are, just the fact that they're cursed, and that they can only repeat
Gotcha.
things, and being a sentient bird person and seeing other bird entities being.
Did I tell you about the potential side story I was working on for the Kenku that I just felt was, after getting some feedback, was just way too dark?
I think so, but it was so dark I forgot what it was.
Basically, it would be a breeding farm where they use message where they actually puncture their eardrums at birth, and then use message so that they can only hear that one sentence, and that's what they repeat over and over again for the rest of their life. And they put them on cars as marketing. It's pretty dark.
Okay,
Pretty dark.
I don't remember that.
Yep.
Oh
pretty,
my.
pretty dark. I decided not to do that.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. Episode 13, Are You a Citizen? Caleb and Autumn
What is
are
a citizen?
sucked into Blue Spark. Quark has looked at Laws of the City. Oh, I already screwed it up. Laws of City, and Italy decides that they should ask every person they get into combat with whether or not they are a citizen.
Because it's illegal to kill citizens in Waterdeep.
Correct. Renair takes them to his friend's Mert's house. It is a mansion. Mert makes a call with a rock and soon informs party where entrance to Xanathar Guild is and wishes them luck in finding Floon. Group enters sewer.
And that's the first place I had noted where we self-identified as the menagerie, but I think that's where it became real, right? It was before, but that's where it kind of really.
Welcome to the stream, Queen Mushi. Group enters sewer and infiltrates base, encountering a bugbear and a mind flare. group manages to defeat Mind Flayer. I have 6 exclamation points after this.
Well, that's correct. Zek manages to defeat Mind Flayer with flagrant disregard for self-preservation.
After it uses a portal to get away, in which
And he
Zek
jumps
runs
in
through.
after it.
The instructions. We are not playing tonight. We're doing the first year recap so that people have a jumping on point for the next year. The rules for...
I'm surprised nobody died there.
Well, the rules for the encounter say specifically not to use the Mind Flayer's most severe attacks. So I was doing all the harrying stuff, but I thought for sure, I have to say for this explanation. I know. I'll make it up to you. I promise. You guys had managed to do so much damage to him in such a short amount of time. He was supposed to, in one round, get to the portal and go through it. And you guys managed to harry him for like 9 rounds. So it was kind of crazy. And then I literally had said, all right, if Zek doesn't kill him in the next round, a second Mind Flayer is going to appear and you start using his attacks. And sure enough, Zek killed him. It's crazy. I'm not holding anything. You can't. This is not my fault. It does specifically say on there not to do this during TTRPGs. Drop this train of thought. Okay. The group rescues Floon, returns him to Volo with Renair in tow, and Volo sheepishly explains that he does not have enough money to pay them what he promised, but gives them something worth more, the deed to a manor. Also, Itali finds out that his childhood friend is Renair's fiance.
Yeah.
That was real. I thought that was just an ad lib. That actually was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking too at first, but then he does come up later on.
Oh, wow.
Any other notes or thoughts? For
I even put the dun, dun, dun in my notes.
Somebody actually said that. I think it was Daniel. Did the dun, dun, dun. And then I'm like, and that's where we're going to end. And everybody's like, oh. Episode 14, Troll Skull Manor. The Blue Spark ejects Caleb, and the group goes with Volo to...
we didn't talk about the were-rat that got away. I don't know if that's ever going to come up again, but there was a were-rat that got away.
That is
Roscoe?
Correct. Yes, there was a were-rat that got away as you guys left the Xanathar Guild hideout in the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Spark ejects Caleb, and the group goes with Volo to officially transfer the deed to the manor. This was one that I actually let play out in real time. Zek is the only person that does not sign. I had thought that Vestiel and Autumn were not signed to it, but Leo did sign them to the deed. So the only person who does not own part of the manor is Zek.
Yep. This was the first time that Zek has been inside of a town, especially for this long. He is a Yuan-Ti, so he's half snake. In most cases, he's not accepted and he's not allowed in. So he has no interest in putting up a claim here. He has been working his butt off to help set up the inn or the tavern, because it's definitely not an inn. He's been working his butt off to help that, but he is not interested in ownership at all.
I am looking something up really quickly. Stand by one.
Is Vestiel ever coming back?
I don't believe so.
TBD. She's currently still in the Spark, so.
Her body has not been mutilated and dropped into a bloody pile yet.
It has not.
Right.
I don't know why that would ever happen. The Spark hasn't done anything like that yet.
I hate to say it, Mr. J. Nice, but it says specifically Not redeemable during TTRPG sessions. Well, it is, but it'll be used in the next non-TTRPG stream. So I will use the Sing It in the next non-TTRPG stream. You guys would.
You don't want to sing everything we do.
And just a quick side note, just as an FYI, there is a 10,000 point goal that you guys can contribute for the community that will have us do a rock band session on a weekend. I also put a limit on hydrate to once every 5 minutes. Because they were trying to drown me yesterday. I'm not joking.
We were making him stop during a Fortnite game every 30 seconds to take a drink of something. It was hilarious.
Let's see. Trollskull Manor officially belongs to the Menagerie. The group tours the manor, and Leo and Mythilus make friends around the neighborhood. Zek has an unpleasant experience with a resident ghost in the manor. The group also finds an overturned carriage with nobles and their children being attacked by thugs and engage with them.
That was the opera episode too, right? So we had to go get the fancy duds.
That's correct. Fancy duds. You met Mert at the opera as well.
And is that yeah, we joined the Harpers. Those of us that were there. Was that everybody? Did everybody join, or is not everybody?
So Zek has yet to join any of the guilds also, because again, for the same reasons, he doesn't want to put down ties here. He's more than willing to help. He'll help you guys with missions, but he doesn't want to be part of something that gets set here.
Sorry,
but I think everyone else who was there became part of the Harpers. I actually think it might have been Leo or Atali grabbed an extra ascot to give to one of the other players too.
I think that is correct.
Oh, it says 0 of 10,000.
Yeah. Okay, good. So it is showing up now. There we go. I don't know if it's a max of 2,000 a day or what, but I don't think you can just do 10,000. I'm not sure. Episode 15, Uncovering Truths. Caleb and Quark are sucked into the spark mid-fight, and the group manages to defeat the thugs. The nobles turn out to be the Castlanters, who promise to repay the group's kindness to them in the future. And the Menagerie's reputation is beginning to grow in the city. Vajra from the Blackstaff Tower invites them to join Force Grey and take contracts from them. Leo, Atali, and Mythilus formally join Force Grey, with Leo reserving the right to extend an offer to join and participate with contracts to the other members of the team, which is accepted. She also learns that you killed Xanathar's guild's Mind Flayer Neilwer. Zek has another encounter with the Spectre in the manor, as does the rest of the group. And the group also receives some welcome to the neighborhood gifts and finds out that Fally has had a falling out with the Genasi blacksmiths, Avi and Embrick. Leo also took on a quest to stop the local scrollmaker from using Duskwood, and decides to try to establish a community business guild. Mythilus goes to the local elven temple to see about hiring someone to exercise the manor. Zek explains his history with Ozma, and Itali starts to explain a small amount of his history with Ozma, and Itali goes to the Hall of Records to investigate the people who have owned the manor before them. And that's episode 15, Uncovering Truths. I love you, Jay Nice. Daniel can say it.
While he's doing a review.
Episode 16, The Blue Alley. The blue spark spits out Quark. Zek recounts his Spectre encounter. Mert requests them to retrieve Unicorn.
And the unicorn, we had thought the unicorn was like this. It was a small token like that you might find in D&D, the magical tokens like the small dog or whatever. And so Italia and I argued with him that he needed to give us a bag to be able to put this token in. And we were trying to get one of the many bags this guy carried around his sizable form. Yeah, it was a funny argument between the three of us because we didn't understand why he wouldn't just give us one of the bags on his waist to carry this unicorn.
Yeah.
Group goes to Blue Alley.
He did give us a bag, though.
He did give us a bag, which I think holds rats now.
How big was the unicorn?
We're getting there.
Okay.
Group goes to Blue Alley.
Isn't this the first encounter with where Itali refuses to tip the messenger boy?
Yeah.
Yes.
This becomes a thing.
Delivers message, slams door in face. Group must go Blue Alley. Successfully infiltrates, solves puzzles, leaves without exploring more. Frustrated GM note.
They were dangerous.
True.
They were. It was very dangerous.
They were dangerous traps. Clever traps. Some of them were really clever, but they were really dangerous. We left with the unicorn. The unicorn was in a mirror trapped room. And the unicorn was about the size of
everything you see belongs to me.
Of like a lab or a golden retriever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he didn't have a bag that we could put the unicorn in. The unicorn was the size of a golden retriever. And I can't remember, was it stone? Crystal?
Stone.
And that was the book we had to sign our names in to get past the barrier. There was a barrier, so we couldn't even get in without signing our names.
You explored less than 30%.
This is why we're catching up too quickly.
If you wouldn't have made it so deadly, we probably would.
We value our lives.
Hilariously, things I expect longer, shorter. Things I expect shorter, way longer.
Isn't that how it goes with tabletop RPGs?
If you hadn't made it so dangerous, we would have explored more. I was too worried about dying. If we could escape without dying, guess what? Escape was to be had.
And see, Zek was very concerned about the hag.
Yes. And my 5 minutes are up, so I don't have to do the sentences over 6 words anymore. Or no sentences over 6 words. Holy cow. Also, the funny part is that was rules as written for a standard group, and it still managed to murder almost all of you. So that was good stuff. I didn't tweak anything in there. Imagine that if you were far less people. That place is super deadly.
And as the campaign is naturally run, you're still supposed to be first level at that point, right? Because we were level 3 at that point?
Okay, so at this point, you guys are in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Waterdeep Dragon Heist is designed from level 1 to 5.
Okay.
So you guys were actually over-leveled, and that Blue Alley is actually its own standalone campaign. It is designed for level 4 or 5, if I remember correctly. So you guys were underpowered going into it, but there were more of you, so it should have pretty much been a wash. So damn it, Mr. J Nice. Stop it. He just redeemed no more than 7. Episode 17, To Speak with a Gazer. The menagerie regroups, and Mert asks for a follow-up request for the group to deal with the gazer in the bookstore, and the group decides to terrorize the small child as the Spectre attacks and knocks Quark out of his room. I got to do the review. It's got to have more than 7 words. I'm sorry, man. I love you. We'll figure out some way to refund your points here. I promise. But Mert asked them.
Shatner.
Yeah, Mert asked them a request for the group to deal with a gazer in a bookstore. The group decides to terrorize a small child who wandered into the Troll Skull Manor, and the Spectre then attacks and knocks Quark out of his room's window. Zek notes how many chairs and tables are needed to repair the downstairs inn as the group prepares to split up. That's all the notes I have for this one. There was a lot of talking in this episode, and we didn't really do a whole lot for that episode. Do you have any further notes, Matt?
We actually did go to the bookstore. That whole encounter with that gazer was pretty freaking hilarious.
It was.
Zek rolled some freaking Naruto Dragon Ball Z level combat acrobatic stuff, and Shaolin soccer kicks the thing to the ground and it explodes.
Yeah, and every time I did the voice, I thought Sean was gonna pee himself. To be honest, it was pretty good.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
We're underplaying a very, very. That was a pretty awesome.
It was an awesome episode. But when you sum it up of bullet points of what we did, bookstore at the Gazer, terrorized a small child.
The bookstore at the Gazer just completely.
Yeah, I know.
That
does not sum up
hard.
No, it doesn't.
I need the voice of the Gazer now, and
it was Russell Frutzing through that whole combat because nothing was going its way.
No, it was not having a good day. And then when you guys burst in on it, it went from bad to worse.
In a touch of foreshadowing, we encountered a cat that appeared to have had some sort of messaging magic used on it. We also skipped off last episode. Into the last episode, we got a moon touch sword, which has been slightly useful for those of us without dark vision.
That is correct. Which I believe Leo is in possession of it. Correct?
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
Episode 18, Caleb's mangled body is spit out of the blue orb. Much to everyone's surprise and shock, Caleb is dead.
This is the first time that something like that had happened with the spark too.
That's correct. Leo has been slowly decoding the magic book that the magical spike turned into. Meanwhile, a warforged cleric named Brand arrived at Troll Skull Manor to help exorcise it. Zek tells the group what he knows about Ozma and how he believes the Spectre is not Ozma that is plaguing them. Even though they had learned at this point that Ozma had set up an orphanage and used the cover of an orphanage to eat children in the same space. Zek also finds a Yanti spellglyph in one of the foundations of the manor, which leads them to a deep subterranean chamber where they find Orwin, an elephant man gladiator in stasis. They free him and he revives. And the Spectre finally attacks the group and they defeat it. They all retire for the evening after a quick trip to the yawning portal. And Neithless has troubled dreams where he falls through the depths and the dark while blood and seawater fills his mouth. He wakes up, goes to the bathroom, and pulls out a chunk of flesh from his mouth. And everyone in the manor hears a disturbingly creepy song fill their minds as we cut to black. And that is episode 18.
Yeah, there was the ghost drank one of the ales that we had sitting out in front of us, so we know it can interact with stuff. We did go back to the Hall of Records to try to get more information about the history of the manor. The most interesting thing you left out, though, is the way to activate this Yuan-Ti spell was Zek had to bite the rune on the floor. Which took like an hour to get around to him doing it, because he was like terrified that this was like trying to get him to do something violent.
It was manipulating me, because it was the same feeling I felt. Did we skip over the helping the kids at the fallen carriage, the carriage that fell over?
No, we did, but I did skip over the fact that you wanted to murder them.
Yeah,
I did glaze over that. Yes.
Yeah, and so this was kind of the same thing, and I was like, crap, it's going to activate them and kill the whole party. Because, I mean, let's be honest, most of you have like 5 hit points.
Yeah, some of us hit pretty hard, though.
If you get a chance to hit, yes.
But when our monk is our tank, that still isn't boding well.
Some of us think we can hit hard.
Well, once you entered the realm, once you entered the group, it helped out a lot. I'm not the tank anymore. I'm not the only frontline fighter anymore.
That's right.
Well, that's good.
The spark allowed Orwin to speak common, because up till then he just spoke on unintelligible language to us.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I believe the spark is what activated the device to revive him as well, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Episode 19, the hot episode, Mama's Home, where I was in full costume and it was so hot under the lights doing the stream. It was good stuff, but it was worth it. Mama Ozma's spirit has reformed in the manor and hunts the spirits of the orphans that got away. And while the group tries to figure out what's going on and how to stop her, they eventually succeed, and the specter from the bar that had been attacking them reforms after Zek realizes that he has legs and passes out. As Zek comes to, he sees it's his former mentor Asos, and Itali sees it's his long-lost father. Short synopsis. Lots of stuff happened in that episode. A lot of it was everyone chasing down the things that were haunting the manor on the various floors, and then eventually a final showdown with Mama Ozma in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned that I'm a very bad chaser. That episode.
But you're great at damaging property.
Yes, I am.
Because
really good.
That hole in the ceiling in the kitchen is still there. Has not been patched yet.
We also learned that Zek isn't a normal Yuan-Ti. He's actually was born human and was cursed.
Is that this one or the Lost episode? Because I think it's the Lost episode.
Well, that might be the Lost episode. I usually put a hash mark in between episodes, and I didn't have one here, but I may have forgotten to.
Mr. J Nice says he got better. So then we had the Lost episode entitled A Spectre's Life. We lost an entire episode due to an audio glitch in which the group found out that Itali's father and Zakusu's mentor were one and the same, compelled by Ozma to do her bidding, watching over Zek and basically abandoning Itali. Asos, as he prefers to be called, had also owned this bar before Ozma, and then she compelled him to help her with her nefarious schemes involving the orphanage children until she was caught and killed. Brand certified the manor as evil-free. It had been cleansed, save for Asos who's not evil but can't seem to leave the bar. He seems to be a permanent haunt, if you will. Autumn and Quark were recruited into the Emerald Enclave, which seeks to combat evil, the undead, and preserve nature. And they requested that the group find a necromancer who had evidence of working in the Lost City, which is the city's giant sprawling graveyard.
And that's like fantasy setting Graceland, right?
Fantasy setting what?
Graceland? Like the gigantic necropolis that is a graveyard.
I would say it's more like have you ever seen New Orleans cemeteries?
I have not.
Okay. There's a lot of above ground marble and stone coffins.
Mm-hmm.
There are some necropolises for very large affluent families, but most of them are not walk-in type things. They're actually above ground.
This is the episode the mana turns purple, right? Thanks to Zach.
I think that what turns purple?
The manor.
No, that's
Gets decorated.
that's
Okay.
actually the next episode, I think.
All right.
Yeah. Which is To Catch a Necromancer, episode 20.
Ah,
The spark eats Leo and Autumn. The team pieces together a suspect and confronts him in his store after buying a lot of finery from him. Then the group also received a Force Grey mission to investigate a potential dragon in the harbor. They decide to try to catch the necromancer, and while they fail to catch him, his exposure means he will most likely not return to the city, and the Emerald Enclave considers that good. They also return to Old Zoblob's shop to purchase purple curtains for Trollskull Manor.
Curtains and sheets.
And a DM note, I forgot that Vajra already knew about your defeat of Nilor, the Mind Flayer of the Xanathar Guild, and so we redid that without me realizing it at this point. So please disregard, players. That never happened at this point again. I realized that
She
going
just
back
didn't
through.
believe it. She
Oh,
wanted
well,
proof.
yeah, 100%. 100%. Episode 21. Oh, any thoughts on To Catch a Necromancer?
is that the one where I made a fool of myself?
In what way?
At the bar.
Yes.
Arm wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. That is the episode in which you came in with the air of confidence of a man who had won 1,000 arm wrestling contests and won 2 and lost all the rest.
Yes.
It was quite amusing. And you are now banned from that establishment.
Yes.
And that's the episode where we also walked in a ginormous circle because we went to the shop and then Meathless got spat out of the spark. So then we decided, oh, hey, we should use the magic stuff we wanted to use before, but nobody could do, which then leads us on this magic path trail, which takes us back to the shop that we spent all the time in waiting for stuff.
And I should also say that I think it's this episode that we find out what happened to we had found out in a previous episode that the woman who gave the massive discount to Leo and Atali was actually sent to debtor's prison. And I believe it is in episode 20 in which Leo pays for the woman's freedom.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was
Leo
you?
was disappointed that I paid for the woman's freedom.
Ah, okay. I couldn't remember for sure. So yes.
Yeah.
Itali paid for the woman's freedom.
Everyone has a hat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that must be the episode where we all bought a fancy suit.
Yeah, that was in The
Or a
Catch a
hat.
Necromancer. Yeah. Suit,
Yeah.
well, or 8 powdered wigs sewn
Yes.
together to look like one giant elephant wig. Episode 21, Conversation with a Dragon.
Oh yeah, that was the last thing that. Did you say that? That we got message that there was a bronze dragon in the harbor. That was the last thing that happened.
That actually happened during the
Previous
law. No, it was in To Catch a Necromancer.
Yeah, it was in. Yeah,
The group receives a Force Grey mission to investigate a potential dragon in the harbor, but you decided to do the Necromancer first. So
okay, I thought the one we decided to do first was. I thought we got interrupted by the party one with the drow, and then we got another one right after finishing the Emerald Enclave, which was the dragon.
Right. You got all of them at the same time, pretty much.
Okay.
And you decided to do the Necromancer first because you were closest, and
my notes are all jumbled.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Episode 21, Conversation with a Dragon. Brand and Orwin were sucked into the Blue Spark along with Zek, only to have Autumn return. The group retrieved the potions of water breathing from ASOS and meet with Volo at the Yawning Portal. They get another mission from the Harpers and Volo to infiltrate that they had gotten previously, but recapping, to infiltrate a pre-party in 2 days and then attend Volo's birthday party. Volo introduced them to Three Fingers at the Yawning Portal, and he's the new Harper contact for the group, and he lets them know that they are to uncover a drow spy and gives them a magic device to assist them in being able to detect thoughts. The group then headed to the naval harbor to investigate the dragon and do encounter him, and while at first threatening, the group has a conversation with him and discerns that he just wants to be a part of the fall sea party that happens annually in Waterdeep. But seeing as it is spring, Itali suggests throwing a combination Quark's birthday party / seafair / advertising the grand reopening of Trollskull Manor party. They actually secure Volo and Mert's attendance, along with getting them to help advertise it. And there are 3 full boats of cake and 3 boats full of presents promised. And the cake boats have already been procured and sponsored by Blackstaff Tower somehow. I wrote in my notes.
Yeah, that was a good one. And also,
Quark actually did the persuasion check on that one and succeeded. That was wild.
Yeah, and also that's the episode where Mythilis was able to get the attention of the dragon without us ever getting into the water, which was great.
That is also true. He cast something at the very, very limit of how far he could cast it, and it actually worked. And I didn't think anybody would think of that, so that's cool.
So now we have extra water breathing potions.
Yep, now you have extra water breathing potions. Mafi, you have a great evening also. Thanks for stopping by.
Not to mention, we also haven't been saying everybody that we talk to are basically getting told that we have a ghost bartender at a spirited spirit serving spirits at Trollskull Manor, and that it's somebody famous that they know. So it's been kind of hilarious that we're just like bragging this up, and everyone's excited. Nobody's like freaked out about this. Everyone's like excited that there's this famous ghost serving alcohol at the manor. It's kind of crazy.
And so that's going to leave us to episode 22, which will be in 2 weeks from tonight. And Rick, I'm glad you were able to stay. It's been a very fun campaign. I'm glad you were able to do the catch up with us. Look forward to having you around for our live play as well. The one thing that I will say is that episode 22 is obviously going to be Party with a Dragon, will be the name of that episode. But we do have one small description event that I need to explain. Give me just 1 second to look something up here. All right. So you guys had just finished speaking with Blackstaff Tower. Everybody's headed back to the manor. And as you are all about to get back to the manor, the blue spark starts undulating very strangely. You've never seen it spin like this. It's spinning end over end, but as it does so, it's like there's something trying to break out of it. And it does this for about 1.5 minutes. And as it does a stream of dominoes begin to escape the blue spark and form into the sky into the form of a large man that looks very jolly, but completely made of dominoes. I don't know how else to explain that. And he probably 350 foot into the sky. So everyone in the city should be able to see it. And he, as soon as it's done forming, he looks down and he says, "There you are." And he points to Brand. He's like, "You have no idea how hard it was to find you." And a giant hand comes down, barely clearing between the two streets, and grabs Brand and holds him up in the air and says, "You're not supposed to be here." And Brand kind of dissipates out of his hand.
Are there still domino pieces?
Yeah, he's completely made of domino pieces.
I know, but some of
I
them
don't
fell
like
out.
that guy.
No, like all of them, it's almost like looking at like what you would imagine looking at a Dijin would be, except that he's made of dominoes.
Okay,
I'm
so there's no
imagining
dominoes
Megabyte.
on the ground.
There are no dominoes on the ground. Every domino, it's like a trail of dominoes coming out of the blue spark. And then the blue spark starts roiling even more. And he looks down at it and says, this shouldn't be possible, and gets sucked into the blue spark and gone.
No dominoes anywhere?
No dominoes anywhere.
Damn, that would have been some free dominoes for the bar. Oh, well.
It would have
Is
tasted
there
like
a
free
safe
dominoes too.
place to put the blue spark?
Put the blue spark?
Good luck with that. We can't even touch it.
Can we pretend to put it somewhere? We should just carry around a helmet, like over it. I'll carry it. I'll carry the helmet around.
Just about the time we think we know what this thing is, it throws us another bit of a curve.
You're still.
And I need everybody to make me a perception check, if you would please, real quick. Oh, it's all right. Just roll me a die 20. I just say you get +6 to whatever you roll. Doesn't matter.
16.
16.
We all get +6?
Yep.
22.
8.
11.
22.
Mitchell, you got a roll for me? Oh, you wouldn't see it. Never mind. You're not there. I forgot. I know where you're at. You're also on mute. You're on mute. We didn't hear any of that.
I just said I would have gotten a really nice number, but it's okay.
Oh, well, what did you roll? What did you roll?
I rolled an 18, so with the +6, it'd be high.
And none of you met the threshold. That's crazy. All right, great. That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow. So, I guess this might be a good time. Actually, we'll have just a quick second to do a check-in with everybody. I don't want to take too much more time for tonight. I appreciate you guys all popping in to do the recap with me. But, how do you feel the campaign's going? Is there something you want to see more of? I know we've been pretty combat light lately. There's reasons for that.
Is it our fault?
It is not your fault. It's
Okay.
actually one of the design challenges in the campaign is the way that these are laid out. This is the story section, and then when we get to phase 3, as written, it's almost all combat for the remainder to level 20, which is very, very.
Wow.
I'm trying to balance that a little bit by having more story here, but also I'm reworking everything to inject more story into phase 3, which is part of the reason why it takes so long. So
Well, thank you.
yeah, no problem. So yeah, but I know that is a thing, and some people thrive and love combat, and we haven't had so much of it, but we've got a little bit more story stuff to get to, and then we'll have some more combat. So I appreciate you hanging in with me if you're one of those folks that loves the combat side of it. I try and balance it as much as I can, but I know it's been a little unbalanced lately. So thanks for your discretion with that. But any other feedback, any other thoughts about how the campaign's going, what you'd like to see, what you'd not like to see, etc.
I'm enjoying it. I'm rusty. It's been a long time since I played.
No, you're Ben.
No, yes, I am Ben. Not or Orin.
Yes.
I think that the one thing I've been missing is more monk magical items. That's
Fair.
And bard magical item. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't really care so much about the bard magical items.
Oh, but I do.
Wider streets,
Mm.
larger buildings.
Did somebody just drop off?
Oh no.
Did Matt just fall off?
I think
Actually,
so.
yeah. It looks like he just
Yeah.
died. Where? Father.
He got kicked out a window.
I mean, if he didn't want to give feedback, he didn't have to just leave. Jeez.
Got kicked out a window. Nice. I'm the Matt now. Well done, Ben. Hey, Ben. High five.
Oh, I am both Ben and Sean.
I'm not
Yeah.
Oh, there he
doing
is. All the boxes are wrong.
Yeah, all the boxes are wrong now, but that's easily fixed. There you go. Nope, that's Ben. No, Sean's in the right place. This is why this system is a little bit. There we go. I think that's did it. Yep, that did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has it been decided if Quark's going to be the owl person or a bird person?
That's actually a good. That's something I needed to talk to Matt about. Do you want to try building it as an owlin to see if you like that better? It's completely up to you.
Yeah, I want to try and do it. We
Sure.
can hit up maybe Wednesday.
Do that.
After,
Yeah,
so
that's
we
no
don't
problem.
want to do Wednesday because we'll do have Divinity Wednesday. So maybe Thursday.
Yes, that would be fine. Do owlin have dark vision?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I looked it up before they have it.
Okay, good deal. So yes, we can definitely put together an owlin version of Quark and see if you like that better.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, we can pretend that the only reason he's never been able to see in the dark is because he never took off his sunglasses or something.
He's got steampunk goggles. I forgot those were totally on my face.
I get zapped by the light.
Yeah, they'll get zapped by the spark again, and something will happen.
Yeah, then I think if that's it, then we'll end it here. As always, thank you everybody for your support. If you're watching on YouNow and would like to support us, you can do so as always by becoming a fan, sending likes our way. That always helps. Help us get towards level 16. We've actually jumped a couple levels because we've had some great streams and appreciate that. On Twitch, you can. Oh, you know what? I just realized. Man, I'm not a good person for hosting tonight. I totally had slides for every single show, and I did not go through them and do them as we did them.
I figured you
was
did,
wondering-
but
yeah.
It took me like 2 hours to do all the screen grabs for all this, and then I didn't use them once. Fantastic job, Mark. Gamer's Ledge. 10 out of 10. Wow. Yeah. I did find that for some reason episode 17 has no subtitles. I've got to go figure out how to fix that. So that was really weird. Just one episode doesn't have subtitles.
What's
So.
That was some
That Daniel
excellent
picture.
fan art. There's excellent fan art of
Yes.
of Zekusu.
Oh, which one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
it just went by really fast, like 18, I think it was.
Hold on one second.
I think it was when you dressed up, right?
No,
No, the one
No.
before that.
Before that.
I think that was from like episode 1 or episode 2. A fan, one of my stalkers made that.
Yes.
Put it in.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
A raven hold a blade in its beak.
That was a Lou question or a Leo question I thought was hilarious.
Yes.
So, yes, I just realized I
That's all
don't.
JR. Well done, JR.
I don't have a. Let me just grab one thing. If you are wanting to support us on Twitch, don't forget by following, you unlock exclusive emotes. In fact, brand new emotes that we just uploaded yesterday. So check those out. Also, if you're able to, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button to become one of our rock stars. As always on YouTube, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and of course the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload new content, which is almost every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. And last but not least, no matter where you're watching from, patreon.com/gamersledge. Get your name on every single show that we do for as little as $1 a month, just like the fine folks that are scrolling across your screen right now, our Patreon and Twitch producers. So thank you to all of them. Thank you, Mitchell, JR, Matt, Sean, and of course, Ben, and to Leo or Lou and Autumn, who are not here with us tonight. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, be excellent to each other. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our first episode of the new year, and game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Game out.
Yeah, man.
I need you closer than ever, ever than before. My life is wasted if I can't spend it all with you. I've lived in total darkness, now you're my only light. When you're away, I feel like a shadow in the night. Hold me, and look into my eyes. You'll be staying always by my side. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me until the end of time. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me. I'll never let you go. No, I'll never let you go. You stay with me until the end of time.
You're watching HMA.